Good morning, America is a registered trademark of ABC, and I'm not allowed to say that between 7 and 8, but I don't care. Happy Tuesday. It's the 18th day of September 2018. Wake Up Wenatchee Valley is on the air. Thanks for starting your day with us here on the NCW Life Channel. I'm Dan Kuntz. Once again, driving solo today. It's okay. I'm licensed. I've done it before. My good friend, news guy Steve Harris, taking yet another day off. He'll be back, I don't know, soon, I hope. Anyway, so Grant Olson, our award-winning anchor, will be handling the news here on this Tuesday morning, and a busy one at that. We got sports, including a recap of the Seattle Seahawks' rather disappointing loss to the Bears. Monday Night Football, when we get to sports, we'll also preview tonight's Eastmont Wenatchee soccer match at Lee Boffel Field at the Apple Bowl. Our cameras will be there. If you can't make it out to watch the girls on the pitch, you can watch it right here in high-definition television, or as we like to say in the business, TV. We also have the obscure holiday today in history. Birthdays, everyone is entitled to Mike Venati's opinion. And the Wenatchee River Salmon Fest is back again this year, the 28th, I'm thinking. 28th, sounds about right. So Corky Broadus will be dropping by from the National Fish Hatchery in Leavenworth. Also, we have Bob Bauer from the Chelan County PUD and Devin Bruno. So we got 3 guests today for the price of none. All of it about the Wenatchee River Salmon Festival, a great tradition. It's back again this year at the Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery. Do not miss that conversation. It's chilly, it's cold, it's 45 degrees outside of our studios, but we have it easy. I just checked in Mansfield right now, it's 32 degrees. In Omak, it's 39 degrees. When was the last time we saw 30s? Yeah, we can tell summer is slipping away from us. The autumnal equinox, of course, is Saturday night in the 6 o'clock hour. I should get an exact time on that, and I will. So we have a very chilly weather forecast coming your way in just a little bit. It's going to be sunny. It's going to be nice. Little iffy for the weekend, and our long drought looks like it's going to continue for a few more days. We have all that information right around the corner. But first, let's take you around North Central Washington with our Valley View cameras, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi high-speed wireless setup. That is the cross camera. It's tilted up and pulled back a little bit, so you can see a little bit more of East Wenatchee than we normally show, but the Wenatchee Valley looking good. This is the brand new 4K camera we put up a few weeks back, so that's really good. It's just a phenomenally nice camera, also expensive, I might add, but a beautiful view of the Wenatchee Valley with not a cloud in the sky today. It's going to be dry and a little cool for most of this week. We could even see some patchy frost in some locations. Let's take a look at downtown Wenatchee as we look north on Wenatchee Avenue. You can see Sunny Slope plainly in view. Birch Mountain sticking out there. Nice and strong, good look, pretty light commute as I look at the avenue here in downtown Wenatchee. That camera is located on top of the Cascadian in beautiful downtown Wenatchee, right in the heart of downtown. Camera 3, Kat says, let's pay a visit to the Waterville camera, I want to say. That's right at the top, right when you crest up and you're on your way into beautiful Waterville. When we can turn this camera around, sometimes we can turn it, we can actually see Waterville clear as a bell, but what you're seeing there is the Aniat area, the greater Aniat area. You can see where the Aniat River empties in to the mighty Columbia. Spectacular view. That camera's up there. It's over 4,000 feet in elevation between the actual location of the tower and the fact that the camera is up on a tower. It's above 4,000 feet. Great view there. And finally, camera 4. Let's see. Kat, our producer, says, we're going to go take a look at that sleeping elephant again. Elephant head. That's what they say it looks like. I guess you can kind of, if you squint, I guess you can kind of picture an elephant lying down. That's Lake Chelan from the Union Valley camera. So Chelan proper is on your lower left-hand corner of your screen. This is a great time of the year to visit Chelan, by the way. In fact, they got a bunch of hydros running all over Lake Chelan up in the Manson area coming up this weekend. That sounds like a lot of fun. What does the weekend look like weather-wise? It's a little too early to predict. Usually by Wednesday of each week, the National Weather Service really can wrap their head around what the forecast is, but they do a pretty good job. Their batting average is pretty high. So another dry and cool day today. Lots of sunshine, very little wind, high of 74 degrees. Our normal high is 77. Yesterday's high was 69, so it was below normal. The overnight low last night, by the way, was 45, which was 7 degrees below normal as well. So it was a very cool day yesterday, but quite a bit of sunshine, high of about 74. Clear tonight, 51 for the overnight low. A little bit warmer on Wednesday. Beautiful Wednesday. Sunshine at 75. Mostly sunny Thursday. We're going to have a couple of clouds visit us on Thursday and a high of 71. Now, there is a slight chance of some rain in the forecast. I want to show you this graphic from the National Weather Service. You'll see the rain shadow and how it works. So it's going to kind of scoop up and around us, so to speak. So the upper Upper part of our viewing area, the Omak-Okanagan area, is going to get a little bit of rain. The Methow Valley, a little bit of rain spilling down pretty much to the Chelan area, but it looks like just a couple of stray passing sprinkle-dinkles here and there for the Wenatchee Valley. The Columbia Basin and the Palouse will be mostly dry. So you can see it goes up and around because the Cascades protect us. Now, we talked about this yesterday, El Nino. They are predicting it's an El Nino year this year. What does that mean? It should be, if it pans out and they use all of these computer models and they go back in history on previous years, that would mean it would be a milder and drier than normal winter. You got that? So a little bit warmer and a little bit drier than what we were used to seeing this time of the year. As you see there, that means the waters in the Pacific Ocean are a little bit warmer than normal, which escorts in warmer temperatures. So there's your forecast. I want to take you through the weekend because it's a big one with the Salmon Fest and everything else going on Friday. Mostly cloudy, slight chance of some light rain, high near 70, 71 with lots of sunshine Saturday, and mostly sunny and a high of 69 on Sunday. All of these temperatures that you see, both the afternoon highs and the overnight lows, are below normal. I want to take one more look around temperatures around north central Washington really quick because it's chilly. Right now it is 49 in Moses Lake. It is 44 in Wenatchee, and as I mentioned before, in Mansfield, it just went down to 31 degrees. That is chilly, but we love autumn. 6 minutes after the hour, as we mentioned before, Steve Hare is taking a couple of well-deserved days off. Grant Olson, our anchor, will be handling the news, and the news is 1 minute away, and it's brought to you by our friends at Cascade Medical. Trained with a physical therapist who loves the outdoors as much as you do. Cascade Medical, partners in your health.
The physical therapists at Cascade Medical love the outdoors as much as you do. But sometimes where there's love, there's also pain. Let us help you get back to the activities that you love. Cascade Medical, partners in your health.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by Localtel. Goodfellow Charity Golf Classic is this Friday at the Wenatchee Golf and Country Club. Come for a fun-filled day of golf to raise funding and awareness for the Chelan Douglas CASA program. Manson Hydrofest is this Saturday and Sunday at Manson Bay Marina. There will be lots of seating in the park, great food, and fun for the whole family. For more information and other community events, visit ncwlife.com.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
Good morning. I'm Grant Olson in for Steve Hare with a look at today's news headlines. Douglas County Sheriff's deputies along with Washington State Patrol responded yesterday morning to a two-vehicle collision at the intersection of Sunset Highway and Otobashan Bridge. The accident caused minor traffic delays. The Dodge pickup was able to drive away from the scene while the SUV was disabled in the crash. The driver of that vehicle also suffered minor injuries. The scene was cleaned up quickly and no word yet on who was at fault in that accident. The Grant County Health District reports an outbreak of chickenpox in 3 elementary schools. Chickenpox have been confirmed at Park Orchard Elementary, North Elementary, and Longview Elementary. Chickenpox is a contagious vaccine-preventable disease that can have serious implications, including death, especially for those who are immune, compromised, or have other health conditions. Chickenpox is spread to others by direct person-to-person contact, by coughing or sneezing. Persons with chickenpox are contagious for around 1 to 2 days before the rash appears and continue to be contagious until all the blisters are crusted over, usually about 4 to 7 days after the rash onset. With confirmation of the chickenpox virus in Grant County, officials are advising individuals to check both their own and their children's vaccination status. Douglas County emergency personnel responded to a fully involved structure fire Saturday night in Bridgeport. Sheriff Kevin Morris says fire crews were dispatched to the 700 block of Old Highland Orchard Road just before 10 p.m. Saturday, but by the time crews arrived, the structure had burned to the ground. 2 occupants were able to escape the fire, but there are 2 people still unaccounted for. The cause and circumstances of the fire are still unknown at this time. Fire and law enforcement investigators are still on scene today. Well, despite friction among its members, the Wenatchee School Board interviewed 4 firms yesterday afternoon prior to selecting one to conduct the search for a new school district superintendent. The interviews concluded at around 4:45 yesterday with a discussion among board members about the interviews, which followed from 5 to 6. 2 board members are seeking a delay in the hiring of a new superintendent while the board works to, in their words, stabilize, and members can, quote, collectively work together on the hiring process. They suggest an interim superintendent be appointed while issues are worked out among the board. Brian Flonis announced earlier this year that he was retiring from that position. Well, the summer concert series at Ome Gardens has once again come through for Wenatchee Valley College students. NCW Life's Eric Granstrom has more.
At a gathering Friday, RLS Productions' 2018 Concerts in the Gardens presented a donation totaling $11,500 to the Wenatchee Valley College Foundation. Robert Sandich, along with his wife Rio, began the concert series 5 years ago.
3 of the 5 shows did sell out, which was great. We were able to give a total of $11,500 at the college with the help of our sponsors and supporters, and we can't do it without those folks. And additionally, we're now up to $41,000 that we've been able to give to the college from the past 5 years, which we're hoping to be able to hit that $35,000 mark for the endowment itself. Now, understanding that we actually have given out already $12,000 of that 41 for annual scholarships. So, and a lot of that actually comes from the Dobbs, Dennis and Beth Dobbs, and Horan Estates, of course. And we had one anonymous donation this year, which was pretty cool, that went directly to the endowment account.
Wenatchee Valley College President Jim Richardson says support from the Ome Garden series is monumental for WVC students.
Well, since its inception, it's really helped a lot of students because there's 2 phases to the program. One is they give scholarships right away to students, and of course that helps us right now, and it helps our students, and helps our students stay in school mostly. A lot of them, it might not be that this is the reason they're here, but this is the reason they stay, because they have enough money to make it through, whether it be books or whatever it is. So that is amazing. And the other part is they're endowing a scholarship that's going to be here forever. So when that happens, we will have this legacy from these concerts that will go on forever for Wenatchee Valley College and Wenatchee Valley College students.
Sandich says the wheels are already in motion for next summer's concert series.
We're going to start actually a week early because the 4th of July is on a Thursday. So the first week we'll actually go ahead and have the big band, because that's the silver generation that we want to be sure and take care of. And so there'll be Thursday the 27th of June. And then we jump into July on the 11th, and we're bringing back the Journey Band, the Infinity Project, and then a new act called Hysteria, which is the best Def Leppard band in the nation, in my opinion. These cats actually wear the wigs, get on the spandex and everything, and do the whole Def Leppard gig. And then after that, we're actually bringing back also Invisible Touch, which is the Phil Collins and Genesis tribute band. They were a big hit. They were one of the ones that sold out as well. And we're ending with the Bon Jovi tribute, best on the West Coast, and they're called Blaze of Glory.
Tickets for next summer's Concerts in the Garden series will go on sale by the end of the month. Eric Granstrom, NCW Life Channel News.
And that's a look at your morning news update. I'm Grant Olson in for Steve Hare, and I hope you'll join me later today for the NCW Life Evening News at 5, 6, and 10. Until then, have a great day.
Thank you very much, Grant. Don't forget, if you want to be a part of our news team, 2 things you need to know. Number 1, we really appreciate it. And number 2, we're not going to pay you. But hey, if you know something out there, or you think there's something out there that demands our attention, maybe send out a camera crew or something, the least you can do is drop us a line. Any number of ways to do that. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com, news@ncwlife.com. If you prefer Facebook, you can go to our Facebook page and private message us. We'll get it. Or if you want to go to our website, you can do so as well. ncwlife.com is our website, ncwlife.com. And while you're there, first of all, fish around a little bit, point and click. There's a lot to look at and see. You can watch all of our shows on demand. If you missed it and you want to go back and look at a show from maybe a week ago, or even a sporting event from last year, it's there for you to peruse on our website at ncwlife.com. And you'll also notice the Contact Us tab at the top of the page. That gives you 2 options. You can either submit a news tip or just drop us a line if you want at NCW Life. WUWV-2018-09-18.com. 15 minutes after the hour, fair skies, 44 degrees, lower 70s today, lower 70s on Wednesday. Typical autumn weather, very beautiful, very sunny, but a little on the cool side. Sports, the obscure holiday. Today in history, birthdays, everybody is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion. And we'll be talking about the Wenatchee River Salmon Fest coming up in the second half of the program. Busy Tuesday, don't go anywhere. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live this morning from Studio 15 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel.
I have a doctor who knows what they're talking about.
It's just so much more hands-on and friendly than anywhere else I've ever been.
It's really great to walk into somewhere where you feel welcomed and you feel accepted.
We've just been grateful for the care and respect that we've been given there.
And here when I come to visit my doctor, I'm not afraid to ask questions.
It's not just about getting you in and out.
I love my care at CVCH. It's awesome. Give it a try.
It's the 28th annual Wenatchee River Salmon Festival this Saturday at the historic Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery. Visit the Native American Village, be eye to eye with the fish in the giant aquarium, play salmon games, and visit the exhibitors, including the Reptile Man, plus Birds of Prey and other performances. And as always, the Wenatchee River Salmon Festival is absolutely free. This Saturday, September 22nd from 10 to 5. For more information, swim to their website, salmonfest.org. Back at it here on this Tuesday. Let's do sports. Russell Wilson sacked 6 times, turned the ball over a couple of times. Seahawks fall to the Bears. Monday Night Football, the final was 24-17 last night. So in 2 games, Seattle has allowed 12 sacks. That's the most in the league. Chicago led 10-3 at halftime despite being outgained throughout the game. The Seahawks still had a chance in the fourth quarter, trailing by a touchdown. Just over 8 minutes to play. Russell Wilson back to pass, intercepted by Prince Amukamara, who returned it 49 yards for the game-clinching touchdown, and that took the wind right out of the sails of the Seahawks. Coach Pete Carroll says his team has got to play better in the first half.
I was really disappointed that we didn't show better in the first half. The first half just was much of a carryover from last week. We got sacked a bunch of times and couldn't get rolling and didn't convert on third down again on offense. Once we got out of the penalty situation with the defense, the guys played really good. I think that it's remarkable to note what Calitro, how Austin Calitro played. Michael coming in a couple days' time. Hakeem King starting and playing for the first time ever. Those guys did a nice job because we played a good night on defense, and we really gave ourselves a chance with a couple turnovers, and we weren't able to capitalize on those, but still they stopped them and got their offense off the field a couple times that were huge. So we're still work in progress, and you can see how hard our guys play. You can see how they fought throughout, all the way to the last seconds on the clock. That's going to help us win games, and we need to get going.
Russell Wilson was sacked 5 times in the first half alone. It's very hard to complete a pass when you're lying on your back. He finished 22 of 36, 226 yards, 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns. He also threw, of course, that pick 6, and he fumbled in the final quarter as well. Despite the loss, Russell Wilson continues to be positive.
There's things that we got to fix, and we can fix, and that's the exciting part about what we can do and what we're going to do. The fourth quarter, I think, really showed us who we are and who we can be. We got to get a better start and try to figure out how to, catch that fire that we have in the fourth quarter. Let's put it in the first, second, and third, and if we can do that, which I don't think we're far off by any means. I think it's the margin of error is really, really small. I really believe that. I'm normally really optimistic. You guys know that, but I really believe that. So I think that's the situation right now.
Seahawks host the Cowboys in their home opener Sunday afternoon, kickoff at 1:25. The Mariners got an 8th-inning grand slam home run from Daniel Vogelbach, and they held Houston to just 3 hits. They had a nice little 4-1 victory last night at Minute Maid Park in beautiful Houston, trailing 1-0 in the 8th. Vogelbach steps up as a pinch hitter for Guillermo Heredia. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Shh, don't tell anybody, but here's what happened.
Big bogey, bases loaded, 1-0 Stros. 1-1 to Vogelbach. And he hit it hard to the gap. Look at this baby fly. It is gone. A grand slam by Daniel Vogelbach. Oh my goodness, I can't believe he did that. And the Mariners have taken the lead here against the defending world champions. A grand slam.
Seattle and Houston will do battle again today, 5:10 first pitch. Mike Leake will toe the rubber for the M's. Josh James for the Stros. Elsewhere in the American League West last night, let's take a look at the Les Schwab scoreboard. 4 Rays pitchers combined on a 2-hit shutout of Texas. Tampa Bay wins 3-0. So the Rays are ahead of Seattle by a half a game as they both chase Oakland for that final AL wildcard spot. The Athletics are 6.5 games up on Tampa Bay, 7 in front of the Mariners. They travel to Anaheim to begin a series with the Angels tonight. We're excited. It's an early season battle tonight. Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl. The Wenatchee Panthers and the Eastmont Wildcats will do battle on the pitch. Both teams 2-0 coming in tonight, 7 o'clock kickoff. Sebastian Moraga and Matt Wiesen will be in the booth. I'll call all the action. We'll have it here live right here on the NCW Life channel. Also on the prep soccer schedule today, you see it. Manson's at Bridgeport, Cashmere's at Chelan. Both of those games started 4:30. Volleyball, let's take a look at it. Manson travels to Brewster. Waterville-Mansfield hosts Orville. Quincy's at Cashmere. That's 6:30, all of those. At 7 o'clock, Cascade Christian Academy will be at Pateros. Wenatchee travels to Sunnyside. And the West Valley Rams will play host. Eastmont will host, I should say, the always tough West Valley Rams. Let's take a look at our sports schedule for the rest of this week. As we mentioned, soccer tonight. Wenatchee hosts Eastmont at 7. On Thursday, we'll feature our first ever live volleyball match. Wenatchee will play host to Davis at 7 o'clock on Thursday night. Eric Granstrom will be joined by Leanne Branham with the play-by-play. On Friday, well, Wenatchee and Eastmont are both out of town, so we're going to replay last Friday's Eastmont-Ellensburg game at 7 o'clock on Friday night. And in case you missed it, Eastmont won. Speaking of schedules, if you have kids and you want to get them into the hockey mood, tonight is the night to go do that. Head on down to the Town Toyota Center. The doors open at 5:30. It is Kids Day. The Wenatchee Wild will have a team scrimmage. That starts at 6 o'clock. There'll be lots of stuff for the kids to do. They can try their hand at an inflatable slap shot shooting gallery. Our very own Eric Granstrom will be there with his camera to get all the kids on TV. It's going to be a lot of fun. Intermission? I don't know if there's going to be an intermission, but I know how much it costs. It's free. It's free. Free is a good cost. That's Kids Day happening today at the Town Toyota Center. Get the kids down there, get them in the mood for hockey. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll have a full report on that tomorrow. All right, 22 minutes after the hour. Let's do the obscure holiday of the day today. It is National Cheeseburger Day. Probably America's favorite hot sandwich would have to be the cheeseburger. It's not that hard to make. 2 buns, piece of meat, some cheese, and then whatever else you put on it. There will be some deals out there. Look for them. I didn't have time this morning to go online and see who's having deals on cheeseburgers on National Cheeseburger Day, but a bunch of local restaurants and chains will be having deals as well. Why is September 18th National Cheeseburger Day? We don't know, but I did some research on the history of the cheeseburger. Lionel Sternberger is reported to have invented the cheeseburger in 1926 in Pasadena, California. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. There are other claims to who invented the cheeseburger. A cheeseburger appeared on the 1928 menu at Odell's Restaurant in Los Angeles, California. It was basically a cheeseburger with chili, cost you 25 cents. Kalen's Restaurant in Louisville says it invented the cheeseburger in 1934. And if that wasn't enough, a trademark for the name cheeseburger was obtained by Louis Ballast of the Humpty Dumpty Drive-In in Denver, Colorado in 1935. Last summer, we had a debate around the office, around the bullpen, about what restaurant makes the best cheeseburger in town. And I am of the opinion that the best cheeseburger are the ones that you make yourself, because at least you know the quality is there. National Cheeseburger Day. I'm just hungry. I want to eat that right now. 24 minutes after the hour. Today in history. September 18th, 1793, 225 years ago, that is the only photograph that I was able to obtain of George Washington laying the cornerstone to the Capitol building. It wasn't just a regular ceremony. They had a party. George Washington, accompanied by 3 Masonic Lodge officers, carried sacrifices of corn, wine, and oil, struck the stone 3 times. Apparently you're supposed to do that. That's a Masonic custom. Washington exited the trench to chanting by the assembled Masons. There was a 15-gun salute, one for each state of the Union at the time. And then there was a short invocation. And then, after all of this was over, they brought out a 500-pound ox. They slaughtered it, and they ate it. It all happened on this date 225 years ago. Now, that's how you lay a cornerstone. Happy birthday to the Capitol. September 18th, 1927, happy birthday to CBS, formerly known as the Columbia Broadcasting System. They ditched that name back in 1971. For many, many years, especially in the 60s and the 70s, it was known as the Tiffany of networks because of their high-quality programming and the fact that they dominated the big three. CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System at the time, now just CBS, went on the air on this date 91 years ago, September 18th, 1927. Happy birthday to the Air Force. It was on September 18th, 1947 that the United States Air Force became an independent branch of the United States Armed Forces, and they became a standalone. They opened up their academy in Colorado Springs. The United States Air Force is, by the way, the largest Air Force in the world, so the United States Air Force is 71 years old today. And September 18th, 1963, it was the end of an era. The very last baseball game ever played at the iconic Polo Grounds in Manhattan in New York City. The Philadelphia Phillies defeated the New York Mets at the Polo Grounds September 18th, 1963. The final was 5-1. The crowd, 1,752. And everybody knew going into the game that would be the last ever baseball game at the Polo Grounds. The Mets moved to Shea Stadium the next year. You would think more people would have showed up. They didn't. The Polo Grounds played host to the New York Giants football and baseball teams. The Yankees, for a short time, played at the Polo Grounds. Also the Jets and, of course, the Mets. And finally, 26 after the hour, let's get some birthdays in for you. Greta Garbo, the Swedish actress, was born in the state in 1905, died at the age of 84 in 1990, very famous for the line, "I want to be let alone." She never signed autographs, never answered fan mail, didn't give interviews, hated crowds, really just didn't like people, was a legendary actress, retired at the age of 35, and died a multimillionaire at the age of 84. How did she pull that off? She collected art. She had a really good eye for art. She would buy art cheap and watch it climb in value. Greta Garbo, one of the top 5 actresses of all time, born in the state in 1905. There were 2 murders that happened in Dallas, Texas on November 22nd, 1963. One was President Kennedy and the other was J.D. Tippit, the police officer who was shot to death the same day JFK was at the age of 39. About 45 minutes after the assassination of JFK, of course, J.D. Tippit on patrol came across Lee Harvey Oswald, who shot him dead on the streets of Dallas. J.D. Tippit left behind a wife and 3 children. In the immediate weeks and months after J.D. Tippit's murder, the family got $647,000 just with people sending in money, checks a little bit here and a little bit there to help out the J.D. Tippit family. Abraham Zapruder, the man who took the famous film of the assassination of JFK, he was paid $100,000 by Life magazine, and Abraham Zapruder gave $25,000 of that to the widow of J.D. Tippit, the other victim, on November 22nd, 1963. Scotty Bowman, the Canadian ice hockey player and coach, he's considered one of the greatest coaches of all time, regardless of the sport that he coached. He holds the record for the most wins in NHL history, 1,244, 223 wins in the Stanley Cup playoffs alone. The greatest hockey coach of all time, I think without question, Scotty Bowman is 85 years old today. And we miss this guy, James Gandolfini from The Sopranos. Passed away. It's hard to believe he's been gone now for 5 years, died of a heart attack in Italy at the age of 51. Of course, he got an enormous praise for his performance as Tony Soprano. He won 3 Emmy Awards, 3 Screen Actors Awards, and 1 Golden Globe Award. We miss James, born in the state of 1961, and those are birthdays. Hey, don't forget, if you know somebody's celebrating a birthday, a local celebrity, get them to us. Go to our Facebook page and private message us, and I'll do my very best to get your local celebrity's birthday on the air, all right? 29 minutes after the hour, just about 45 degrees outside of our studios, quite a bit of sunshine. When we come back, everybody's entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion. Then we're talking the Wenatchee River Salmon Festival is back again for the 28th year. Looking forward to that. Corky, Bob, and Devin will all be dropping by in the next half hour. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live this morning from Studio 3 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
Hello, Wenatchee Valley. Christian Shainman here with Bay Equity Home Loans.
Let us make your dream of home ownership a reality. We're here to guide you through the loan process every step of the way. Check out our convenient online application. Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, your home for loans.
Stop on by or give us a call today.
Hi everyone, Brent. Hey, don't mind, we're just making a commercial here, Randall. You're okay. Hi everyone, Brent here. You're gonna love this. When you see this, come down and see us behind Nissan. I can do it. I can do it. The all-new 2018 Nissan, that's done, I'm done. we can't do it. Come down and see us at Town Nissan behind Costco in East Wenatchee. Better performance, better...
Eastern Washington. It's a great place to call home and a great time to own a home. It's the ideal place to lay down roots for your family and your future. Gisa Credit Union thinks Eastern Washington is a great place to own a home too. That's why we offer all kinds of home loans with personal attention every step of the way. We're your home. For home loans, we're Gisa Credit Union.
You can buy fruit almost anywhere. From first off the tree to first in your hands, Lone Pine offers seasonal fruit from their farm and around the region every day. Make Lone Pine your latte stop with coffee from Blue Star Coffee Roasters and a fresh piece of fruit pie. Take a break with a friend and order a cold micro beer or a glass of Northwest wine. Bring the whole family and enjoy a Lone Pine lunch or a fresh shake in their park-like setting. Lone Pine Fruit and Espresso on Highway 97.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life Channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on Local Tel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life Channel.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, recently on Facebook, a friend commented that racists, white supremacists, and neo-Nazis were subhuman, and intimated that violence against these folks was justified. Interesting, I thought. And I asked my friend if he remembered who the term subhuman had also been attributed to previously. No response. Well, you know the answer. This was one of the terms that Hitler used and his fellow Nazis to describe the Jews. Now, I have to wonder, how can we decry hatred and bigotry in others but harbor the same hatred and bigotry ourselves? This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
Jurassic Quest is coming. See the largest and most realistic dinosaur event in North America. Experience the sights and sounds of living, breathing, even walking dinosaurs. Over 80 true to life-size dinosaurs and counting. It's educational, fun, and hands-on. Uncover huge fossils like a real paleontologist. Ride the big 24-foot dinosaurs. Enter the towering dinosaur inflatables. This event has doubled in size. Town Toyota Center in Wenatchee, September 21st through the 23rd. For guaranteed admission, get tickets now at JurassicQuest.com.
NCW Life Channel is proud to present the Spotlight on Business. We're going behind the scenes to bring you the story of local businesses throughout North Central Washington. How did they get started? And why are they so successful? We'll answer these and other questions each week with Spotlight on Business, Sundays through Fridays on the NCW Life Channel. The NCW Life Channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's learn. Guada TV. Street Talk and other stuff. the 12th District, Life with Lisa, and the Arbiter of Stoke. NCW Life Channel is your local TV station.
And welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It was 28 years ago that the Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery had their 50th, I want to say, anniversary, and they thought they better have a party. They better do something about it. And they did. They had a big party. This was 28 years ago. And by golly, it went over so well, they had one the next year, and the next year, and the next year. And now it's 25 plus years after that. And the Wenatchee River Salmon Festival continues to go great guns. And here to talk about that is my friend Corky Broadus to my immediate left. And you might recognize that strapping handsome son of a gun, because he's been on our show before. Bob Bauer from the Chelan County PUD joins us as well. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dan.
Did I get that right? It was the 50th anniversary that was the first
It
Salmon
was
Fest?
the first open house that the hatchery
Yeah.
ever had, and then the next year was in 91. 1991 was the first Salmon Festival.
And you've been there from the get-go, right?
Well, I worked for the Forest Service first, and we began it, started in those days, and then, yeah, I couldn't pass up an opportunity for a job to be the director and be able to create some outreach programs for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service.
And it's worked out great.
Oh, it's been a run we never thought would go this long,
Yeah.
ever. And it really, Dan, it was all based upon the return of the wild summer Chinook to the Wenatchee River. In those days, the runs were so magnificent. You could go up Tumwater Canyon out of Leavenworth and you just see thousands of spawning salmon. And I was in a van driving with some fish biologists. I was a public information officer then. And they were looking down at the river, and they just stopped the van and turned to me and said, "Why are we not telling our public about salmon and how to keep these rivers special, because they are with these wild salmon." And the sockeye runs were up to Lake Wenatchee, in the thousands. And so we went back to the office and said, "I think we need a salmon festival or something. Leavenworth's the town of festivals. Let's create one that's way different than the others. Let's make it educational." And therefore we created Salmon Fest, and we call it edutainment. So it's education and entertainment.
If it's education and entertainment, why'd you bring Bob along?
Because he is both. I always have a good education from Bob, and I laugh a lot.
Bob is the sideshow.
Bob is
okay. Sideshow Bob, yeah.
So Corky's been with the festival since the beginning. I've been with it 14 years, and my capacity is representing Chelan County PUD and our community partnership, and we are one of several agencies that all come together to make this happen. And so it's been a thrill for me. I've watched as it's gotten better every year. And everybody has their favorite aspect of the Salmon Festival. I'd say for most people it's that public day when all the families get to come. But for me, just on a personal level, I like the school days because there's tons of education. The kids are coming out, they're having a lot of fun, but they're learning some really cool things too.
And that's probably the biggest thing to stress about the Wenatchee River Salmon Festival. These kids in schools, elementary schools all over North Central Washington, have been learning about the salmon and learning about this, and then they're all going to be bussed in, and they spend the entire day at the Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery.
Right. This Thursday and Friday will be our school days, and I can tell you it's the record number of schools and school districts, 22 school districts, 3,000 third and fourth grade homeschools and other schools that are participating. We have teachers that have signed up for our activities, and they go through annual workshops to update and update themselves and to get their students booked. And these curriculum that we developed for every single I should say, Bob, probably 20 activities, 20 or more. We have these sign-up activities that teachers just love. And it helps reinforce that education. The third grade is salmon and water and good habitat, and the fourth grade they get into is Native American studies. So we get to fit the bill and share with natural resource specialists, with top people like Bob and his PUD crew, with the U.S. Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management.
Yeah, tell me about the checkerboard.
yeah,
There's a lot of
it's a
different
lot.
organizations that are involved in this. You mentioned Fish and Wildlife, Chelan County PUD. Who else makes this happen?
Forest Service,
yeah.
big player. And the Friends of Northwest Hatcheries is our nonprofit organization. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, many nonprofits, from Audubon to Wenatchee River Institute to, oh gosh, it just goes on. Wonderful community representatives from private businesses, folks that, you know, the fly fisher clubs. Trout Unlimited is a big sponsor. We have other sponsors. Confluence Health just jumped on board because it's really, the festival is really about connecting people with nature. Kids especially has been our focus and will always be. And this year we get our Saturday back, and we've got quite an assortment and wonderful.
And we'll talk about that. There's so many activities going on, especially on Saturday. What do you want, you mentioned third graders and fourth graders, what do you want them to take away from this? Maybe plant that seed to get involved in the outdoors and just don't go home and hook up your Xbox One and do this
Exactly.
now. Oh, I didn't have to take a math test today. What do you want them to take out of it?
So the PUD, we sponsor Giyataku booth, which is a Japanese word. Giya is fish. We do that, some comparison and contrast. The kid has skin, fish have scales, that kind of thing. And so we want them to learn, obviously, what the grade level expectations are in Washington State for that grade level. But we also want them to learn that right in this area, all of these things are so important because this is where we live, this is what we do. And so fish biology is a big part of the Wenatchee Valley because this is the run, man. This is where they come.
And this is why it's held this time of the year as well,
exactly.
right?
Absolutely. And then the Native American Village. We're just so pleased to be kind of one of the sponsors, probably the main sponsor in Native American Village, because the cultural relationships of watching what we think of as our kids, our local kids in the local schools, not just watching our Native American friends dance, but getting out and dancing with them. Not just looking at their regalia, but learning what the regalia is. And so it's twofold. It's the education, but it's also the community relations and the culture.
And a friendly reminder that we're the interlopers. They were here first.
Absolutely.
And when you say that, Dan, the truth is, where we're located on Icicle Creek at the Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery is the Aboriginal grounds. I mean, those are the fishing, hunting, root gathering, berry picking. You know, the history is truly there. I mean, you feel it, don't we?
Absolutely.
I mean, we do.
And you must. It really gives you a grasp of what the salmon runs must have been like 200 years ago, 250 years ago, before man showed up and screwed everything up or built dams. It must have been incredible. He probably didn't even need a fishing pole. He just went out and grabbed them right out of the river, right? I was assuming, it must have been insane. So the educational part cannot be stressed, but the bottom line is it's fun. It's just a fun, cool event. Does it bring a lot more attention to the Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery when Salmon Fest is not going on? Is it raise the profile of the incredible facility?
Yeah. Absolutely. In fact, when we started Salmon Fest, we also, the hatchery was built in 1939, and it was built because Grand Coulee, when Grand Coulee was built, it blocked off the passage of millions of salmon going up into Canada.
Oops, we can't get there anymore.
Right.
Yeah, there's a wall
So
here.
Congress said, okay, we're going to mitigate for the loss of those salmon, and so we were going to build a hatchery. We've got to find the locations. One's on Icicle Creek, one's up the Aniat River, and one's up the Methow. And so that's part of the Leavenworth Fisheries Complex, are all three of those. And now there's one in Bridgeport, or Chief Joseph. And anyway, so, gosh, the history and what it has done is open the gates. The Leavenworth Fish Hatchery was when I first started working there, I mean, it was barbed wire fence around the home grounds. And it was no keep out. And it was a private, it was public land, but it was a pretty quiet operation, and they raised millions of salmon. When we started Salmon Fest, my boss, quite a visionary at the time, he said, open the gates. I want to, you know, set out a public use and a visitor services operation along with this. Salmon Fest became one of the first nature festivals in the United States, of which there are over 300 now, and we were part of a mentorship program for many of those. There are 9 Salmon Fests on the West Coast now.
I was going to ask you if anybody else has been emulating you guys.
And we actually had a book published by the government printing office, a how-to book, and it just helped encourage agencies and public land to be used by the public in really resourceful ways, but also in learning about the environment and how to care for it, so we could all, you know, again, connect in our own ways to nature, all ages.
I agree 100%. And I've been to the Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery any number of times. In fact, I went up there a couple of years ago and I interviewed you and some of the crew. It's such a neat place.
It's a beautiful setting, 170 acres almost, and you're looking at Sleeping Lady Mountain and Wedge Mountain and, you know, beautiful icicle ridge.
I love the smell of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's kind of that fishy smell.
Yeah, which I have no problems with at all.
Yeah.
So, a couple more. You mentioned the PUD's role in all this. When you're not here, Bob, what is it that you do? Bob's been on the show before. Just give us a quick.
So I work at the Discovery Center out at Rocky Reach, and we kind of oversee all of the outreach education for the PUD. And so my supervisor, Debbie Gallagher, and I were on the Salmon Festival core team. So year-round, we're having our meetings and trying to bring on new sponsors and develop new curriculum and update curriculum. So it's kind of a year-round process. You don't pull an event off like this by starting a month before. Getting our dancers, you know, bringing all of the guests in, getting the entertainment taken care of. So there's that piece of it. And then we just provide a ton of logistical support, whether it's transporting TP and long tent poles and canvas, to bringing bleachers up, you know, to set up, and signs, and our graphics department, they do a lot of in-kind printing and advertise, you know, that kind of thing. And then we also help coordinate volunteers. A lot of people don't realize when I say community relations, community event, you'll have parents, you'll have kids, you'll have sponsors, you'll have business, you'll have this, but we'll also have probably in the neighborhood of 100, 150 high school student volunteers out there.
Wow.
Giving their time and volunteering, and they'll be wearing mascot costumes, and they'll be helping kids paint fish, and so it's really teaching the high schoolers how to mentor and teach the younger kids too. So it's just a great community event.
Is that Sammy the Salmon?
There you go. There's Sammy, and there's Sammy. And a high schooler is wearing that costume.
Kudos to him. I want to bring Devin on, so I have one more quick question for you, Bob. How do you know when a salmon passes by Rocky Reach Dam that it's a wild salmon that was spawned in the wild as opposed to those that were raised in a hatchery? How do you know?
So there's a dorsal fin on top of their back. There's the caudal fin that they propel with, and then in between on the top there's a little adipose fin, just fatty tissue. If he has that fin, he's wild. If he doesn't, if it's been clipped, he's hatchery.
Oh, wow. See, I learned something.
There you go. Right. That's how we tell. So.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, who's going to join us, Corky? Bob's got to step aside because he has a day job. Who's going to join us here?
Devin Bruno, and he is a Wasco tribal member and a great Indian educator and dancer. Will be with us at Salmon Fest.
Devin, when we come back, you're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house, featuring great family dining in downtown Chelan. We've got burgers, pub fare, and the best barbecue around. Try one of our award-winning sauces made fresh here in-house. So grab the whole gang and come on down. Stormy Mountain Brewing. Beer, barbecue, friends, and beer.
This is State Representative Kerry Condata inviting you to watch our new and improved 12th District 2.0 show. Now featuring more information on federal, state, and local issues in a leaner, faster format. Guest hosts John Wise and Shiloh Shower bring it all home with yours truly, Kerry Condata. Why do we call it 2.0? Because just like me, it's the stronger, faster, and lighter version of today's politics. Also available on demand at ncwlife.com.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Head.
Catch us on Local Tel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
And we are back. Bob Bauer has left for his job with the Chelan County PUD. Devin Bruno has replaced Bob in the studio. Welcome to the program, Devin. It's good to see you.
It's nice to see you too, and thank you for welcoming me.
My
here.
pleasure. I want to talk about your regalia here in just a little bit. But your first time around the show, tell folks a little bit about Devin, a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I'm Devin Bruno. I'm Wasco of the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs. I'm from Oregon. This is my 20th year coming up to help out with the Salmon Festival. I first started coming up here when I was 7, just a wee little lad. And just been coming up every year with my parents and helping out with the intertribal village. First started out as a presenter, just doing like stone bowls and other like beadwork. And then I've slowly like moved up in responsibility and helped like tour guide the elementary school classrooms, scheduled tours that come in through the neighbor village and make sure they get to see like the salmon bake and get into the long tent.
Talk about the importance of salmon in your tribe, in your family.
So traditionally, salmon is like one of the really big foods. There used to be a salmon run for every moon before they got over-harvested in like dams that got put in, and initially they didn't have any fish ladders, but then we've gotten most of those with fish ladders nowadays. And it's just a really big food source, because before they used to be able to see so many salmon like in the Columbia River. It's like you could walk across the river on the backs of the salmon. That's how much salmon there used to be.
And then when the salmon is harvested and the salmon season's over, you have a big party, right? Is it a big celebration to celebrate the salmon?
Well, traditionally we'd have the salmon celebration and celebrate the foods before they were gathered, just kind of like honor and respect them. And salmon is also like, aside from just cooking up eating it, you can we're able to dry it, and you'd see like this big old thick piece of salmon, then be this like tiny little flat sheet once it's dried. And when it's dried, it lasts for up to like 24 years, so it's really nice.
It was substance for the winter time.
Yep.
Get you through the winter, yeah. So what are you going to be doing this weekend with the kids, and then on Saturday? What are your specific duties, Devin?
So I'm gonna be focusing on touring the kids around the long tent. The traditional lodging with some modern materials. Like we have like just basic canvas for covering it up, but traditionally we'd use in this northwest area we'd use tules, and tule mats it's kind of similar to cattails, like a spongy reed, and you'd make these like really big mats for it. And the mats were really good because they're lightweight. When it was dry in the summer and whatnot, they'd dry up and there'd be gaps in it, so you get some air blowing through your teepees or long tents, long houses made up of it. And during the winter, when it becomes moist, the sponginess of the plant would soak up the moisture in the air, so then it'd seal up and keep you warm. and you don't have to worry about it taking a long time to dry, like hide and whatnot.
You mentioned you've been doing this for a long time. My guess is you rather enjoy it, or you wouldn't keep coming up year after year after year to celebrate it and participate in it. What do you want the kids to take away from you after you do your stuff? What do you want the kids when they go back to their classroom? What do they learn from Devin?
One of the things is nice to get them to at least, even if they don't like fish, to at least try the salmon, because traditionally baked salmon is kind of like entirely different taste, because just the way the salmon is baked, a lot of like the bad chemicals and flavors get drip out of the salmon over the fire as it's baked, and the good flavors are like sealed in. My dad has turned lots of fish haters into fish lovers.
Good.
Oh.
They're like, I don't like fish except when Clifton bakes it. But also just it's a good opportunity for the kids to just ask any questions that they are interested, because we're going to have a lot of Native American presenters presenting their culture, and just an opportunity that isn't available normally.
Corky, we only have just a couple minutes left real quickly. Yes. What have we missed on we're concentrating specifically on Saturday from pretty much at 10 a.m. all the way through the rest of the day, but everything that's going on, what do we need to absolutely stress in the time?
Well, you know, we can't get enough attention when it comes to having the Reptile Man, and he will be doing 2 shows at our main stage in Hatchery Park, and he will be performing at 12:30 and again at 4 o'clock. It's always a hit with him. We do have a new program in addition to the Native American Village. As part of the Native American Village is Beyond the Frame, which is now a wonderful photography exhibit that shares an incredible view and a look at what it means to be Native now in contemporary life, based on some of the very famous photographic work of Edward Curtis in the early 1900s. Wonderful activities. In addition to that, outdoor recreation. I can tell you, we're going to fill our ponds out there, and kids can hop in a kayak. There's going to be the climbing wall. There's a lot of outdoor recreation. The boondockers are coming with their snowmobiles. I mean, it's going to be fun out there. Chalk art is coming back. There's a chalk artist, Christy Pease, who is the coordinator, and she's creating and having the children and the families on Saturday help build a huge chalk mural on one of the buildings at the hatchery. There is so much food booths,
yeah, I was going to say, you can spend all day there because they will feed you.
And the key,
Yeah.
It is free.
Absolutely free.
Absolutely free. We work so hard to have all the communities of the Wenatchee Valley.
Because you can charge admission and get away with it, but the fact that you've kept it free is the way to do it.
That's our goal.
So everything that we've been talking about is at salmonfest.org.
Yes.
Salmonfest.org. It's got the schedule. It's got everything you need to know. We expect to see you up at the Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery on Saturday. Starts at 10 o'clock, and you can stay until the cops come and throw you out. Fair enough.
Be there.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Thank you.
It's the 28th annual Wenatchee River Salmon Festival this Saturday at the historic Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery. Visit the Native American Village, be eye to eye with the fish in the giant aquarium, play salmon games, and visit the exhibitors including the Reptile Man, plus Birds of Prey and other performances. And as always, the Wenatchee River Salmon Festival is absolutely free. This Saturday, September 22nd from 10 to 5. For more information, swim to their website, salmonfest.org. And let's close out this edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with really good news for Corky and Devin. The forecast for Leavenworth on Saturday, sunshine and 70.
Is it?
Yeah, go out and get it. Go out and
we
get
will.
it. The Wenatchee River Salmon Festival, it's a great party and it's a great tradition. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.